Millions of professionals are spending their nights studying prompt engineering, convinced it is the ultimate skill to save their careers. In reality, they are training for a workflow that is already being automated away. We are entering a phase of intellectual obesity. By outsourcing basic problem-solving to chatbots, our cognitive abilities are starting to atrophy. We are becoming slower and less capable of the very independent thought that once made us valuable. AI models are trained on the entirety of the public internet, which means their default output is the statistical average of everything ever written. If you accept the first result a chatbot gives you, your work becomes as replaceable as the data that trained the model. The tools arriving in 2027 are being built to bypass the manual labor we are practicing today. Focusing on today's manual AI tricks creates a structural mismatch between your current skills and the autonomous future of the industry. To understand the next 3 years, you have to recognize the boundary between an AI tool and an AI agent. A tool requires a manual command for every step, halting until your next instruction. An agent operates on a goal. Given an objective, software access, and memory, it independently cycles through work and self-corrects without you touching the keyboard. Modern agents are now sophisticated enough to analyze a poorly written human prompt, identify the missing information, and rewrite the instruction for themselves before they even start working. As agents begin to evaluate and fix their own directions, the technical requirement for manual prompting vanishes from the professional workflow. We are already seeing the first wave of this shift. Features like Claude's computer use can take control of a user's screen, open a browser, and independently scrape data across dozens of tabs to build a complete report. But these systems have a specific set of flaws. At this stage, managing an agent is like supervising a highly capable but slightly drunk intern. They can do a massive amount of heavy lifting, but they are prone to hallucinations and formatting errors. If you deploy an agent on a high-stakes problem where a single mistake is catastrophic, the system will likely fail you. Their immediate value is found in volume. They can churn through massive amounts of repetitive data to find intersecting patterns at speeds that would exhaust a human researcher. Extracting value from an agent requires treating it as a high-speed assistant, allowing it to handle the bulk of the labor, while you manually police the inevitable flaws in its logic. Because the software handles the execution, your role shifts toward context engineering. The ACE framework starts with A for action, define the specific task the agent must perform. C is for context, explain why it's being done, and establish rigid constraints. E is for expectation, provide reference materials defining the final output. Future career growth belongs to those who can provide airtight context to a digital workforce, moving beyond the simple execution of text or code. This leads us to a difficult question. If software is now doing the heavy lifting, the research, and the self-correction, what exactly is the human's contribution? The most dangerous career mistake you can make right now is treating an AI's initial output as your finish line. That first result is actually just your new baseline. Building real value on top of an agent's work requires a level of domain knowledge and fundamental intelligence that is significantly higher than the AI's default setting. Professionals who abandon deep reading and complex thinking will become mere conduits for AI slop, garbage data generated by machines intended for other machines. Surviving this shift requires stepping away from digital execution and aggressively cultivating traits that cannot be automated. The next decade's curriculum starts with good health. You need the biological energy and mental clarity required to manage these high-velocity workflows. Then there is taste. This is the innate, non-downloadable understanding of what the market and the culture actually want. Next is judgment. When an agent presents you with multiple viable paths, you need the experience-based wisdom to choose the correct strategic direction. Fourth is pattern finding. This is the capacity to read deeply across disjointed real-world events to spot the underlying trends that a model cannot see. And finally, vocabulary. You need the exact, nuanced words required to describe those trends accurately back to your agents. This level of technological disruption requires a specific focus. Jeff Bezos famously suggested that to succeed in a changing world, you should bet on things that do not change. Cultivating deep human intellect turns you into the strategist who directs a fleet of agents through superior context and judgment.